Hello, beautiful soul. It's the little reader here with an accomplice. This beautiful smoky quartz. Take a look at that. Get a load of that. She's gorgeous. Oh my goodness. She, he, they. I won't gender you. You are you. Hi. It's Smoky Quartz, fam. So, we're here. Message already coming through. Coming through because I hit that bowl right there and I hummed and I said, what is it that you would love to use me as a channel for our glorious community? And here's what it is, and I love it. I'll just say right off the bat, I love it. Your patterns, beautiful soul, your patterns are your roadmap to greatness. Your roadmap to greatness, darling. If we let the mind take over with the spiritual lingo and talk, including what we share here in the house, we all have a mind. We love the mind. Mind, hi, beautiful. But if we let it run the show and we let it lead, it's so phenomenal. If we can just flatter the mind for a second, it is so damn good at agendaizing everything. And you give the mind something like, well, there's patterned existence and then there's conscious existence. And the mind, at least mine, goes, oh my God. It's very British. Then we must eliminate all patterns immediately. Get rid of the patterns. Goodbye. You now must dwell in the conscious witness perspective at all times, or you are failing at your mission, you horrible ass spiritual bullshitter. Ain't that great? Just my mind that sounds like that, or got that in common maybe? I don't know. Let me know. I'd love to know. But yeah, agendaizing. The mind is like, I can make an agenda out of this. I can make an agenda out of anything. Unconditional love, I can turn that into a win-lose situation, a succeed-fail dynamic. We feed something to the mind, it feeds back to us. An opportunity for judgment and criticism. Again, totally okay. The mind's function. The mind is adept at pushing our form more deeply into form, which is great for growing our capital, building an empire, taking control over people, places, and things. But that's kind of where the mind's expertise stops. So we thank you. Today, it's a delivery of the heart, my sweet friend. And what the heart is saying, what spirit is saying, which will resonate with the heart, is that your patterns are your roadmap to greatness, my love. Your roadmap to greatness. What does it mean, man? Like, hey, give us something. Well, that's actually kind of it. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful. But we can judge it however we want. It's ugly, it's beautiful. You slap your label on it, baby. Don't let me cramp your style. But what I mean by beautiful is it's total. It's whole. It's elegant. It's a reminder from the divine that your patterns were not put into place by you. What you call you, your personality, your body, your mind. And of course, the mind, we're back to that again, wants to take credit. That's kind of the mind's gig, like fake leader until someone overthrows me. So spicy. The mind is such a character. So of course it wants to take all the credit and be like, of course my patterns were designed by me. Obviously. I control my day. I control what I eat, what I drink, what I consume, what I say. And the divine giggles at that because Your mind doesn't. Your mind doesn't control those things. Your mind is an echo of your form. That's why everything having to do with this body influences the mind so profoundly. Your mind is an echo of its environment. Yeah. So even the times that we think we're making choices, and they're conscious choices, and we're so in charge, we are operating on a pre-patterned route. We are selecting in favor of survival. We are selecting based off of predispositions that are embedded into the cells of our flesh. Emphasis on the word pre. So our mind thinks, and you can check out our transmission on free will if you want a little mind blower after this, but our mind thinks and thinks, I'm so free, I'm so wild, I'm so crazy, I'm so great. But the mind is the product of patterns, and it produces more patterns. It recognizes patterns, it sees patterns, but it thinks in patterns. And the more closely identified with our mind we are, the more time we spend in it, the more we believe this idea of the mind being a free agent to be truth. The more time we spend out of the mind, in places like the heart, or the body itself, or in other realms, the more we recognize the mind for the pattern that it is. And we start to identify away from our thoughts, our beliefs, and our ideas, because we see how small they are in contrast to the enormity, it's a good word, of that which we really are. Now, we say all this, and it's lovely, and we can all go mentally masturbate to it later and be like, oh my God, I just learned this great new idea about how I'm just an idea. And it's funny. It's funny. And so much of awareness and re-identifying as the divine versus the temporal is funny. Because what is humor if not awareness? Seeing the bigger picture even when smaller characters don't see ironies and nuances. Jokes are just awareness. So it's all very humorous and it's all very funny, and we can walk away and giggle at all of this. But Spirit's takeaway for us today, beautiful soul, for you, if you wandered in here and if you're feeling it, or if you're not, maybe you're like the opposite of feeling it. You're like, God, my teeth are falling out. The takeaway is that your patterns are actually beautiful. And it's precisely because you don't have a hand in programming them that they are perfection. When I say you, I mean your mind. Your mind is neither the pattern maker nor the pattern breaker. It can witness and construct, but it can't affect change. Things that affect change. Pattern interrupts. And those come at the divine time, in the divine moment, when each individual is ready. Kind of like the great rapture that's spoken about in that ancient text, the Holy Bible. No shade, by the way. It's a great book of patterns. Divinity. That is how Spirit describes patterns. Everything is playing out perfectly. Even the patterns you hate the most about yourself, that you bear witness to and then you loathe, are fearfully and wonderfully made. Art. We look around and you'll see it in the spiritual community a lot, and outside of the spiritual community, the religious sect, or even in the political sphere. It pops up all over the place with good reason. Individuals will say, how can patterns of destruction and pain and suffering bear any purpose? How can spirit, the divine, God, the universe, whatever the thing, the label we put on the great, just knocked over this remote control. How can the thing, the divinity, allow all of this shit to go down? And that's a glorious reflection of the vantage point of our mind, which is busy always judging things as good, bad, constructive, destructive. And we don't throw out the mind. We need those functions. The mind has gotten us to exactly where we are, right here, right now. It has its place. Again, mind is very linked to survival. And then when it gets beyond survival, it becomes conquering. But the idea that we're the victim of our patterns is just that. It's an idea. The idea that there is a wrong way to do life, even if it's as a venomous, destructive character that touches everything and turns it to shit upon contact. The idea that that is wrong is another mental judgment. And consciousness is rapidly expanding beyond the mind, which is why we're here right now, having this little moment. Just to let you know that as you find yourself judging yourself and others, because those two go like this. If we're judging one, we're judging the other, and vice versa. If you find yourself throwing the shade and putting things down and dismissing and raging is like the extent of how far we'll go with that today, but just internally imploding at the injustices of it all because of the unconsciousness and the patterning. All Spirit asks, offers, invites you to recognize is that it's still perfect. It's still perfect. And it may never make sense from a mental perspective, and that's okay. It wasn't meant to. Life outside the mind exists. And outside of this, it makes perfect sense. And you have the opportunity to realize that when you begin to understand that you can shift your awareness out of this realm and see the bigger picture. So, when you're here and you catch yourself, give yourself grace, beautiful soul. Extend the love to you. It'll leak onto the others, but it starts right here. And when you see patterns that frustrate you, cramp your style, or even that are just funny, when you see patterns, period, give them a smile. Give them a kiss with their consent. Pat them on the booty with their consent. Thank them for existing. Because every single pattern was designed flawlessly by the divine. And every single one that exists at this time is contributing to love, to joy, to wholeness, even if this realm isn't presently attuned to recognizing it. This does not dictate objective truth. You can never know it. It can only dictate the echoes of the survival of this form, and that's okay, that's its job. When you start to get curious about experiencing the beauty of all the unconsciousness in this world firsthand, you know where to go. You'll find it here. That's where we're leaving it today, my sweet friend. Until we meet again, I am sending you all of the love I've got. It is always more. It is never less, because you, either as patterns and unconsciousness or as brilliant witness perspective, fully conscious, you and you, are so very worthy of it. Yeah. I love you. Thank you. This world wouldn't be this world without you. In all your forms.